Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today, as you could probably tell by the title, I got a new animal. I got a new animal from a pet expo here in my home state. I am super excited to introduce you to him. But before we do that, it has been a hot minute since I have filmed. I filmed about just over 2 weeks ago, and you guys have not seen that video. It was the day of my wedding, actually, and that video is probably not going to come out until like first-ish, second-ish week of December, because we do not have our pictures and we actually leave in 9 days for our 2-week cruise. So videos are going to be a little sporadic, and I'm sorry about that, but life's crazy. But I did want to get this video out before we go on our cruise. So I'm going to be doing this video of introducing you to my new pet, and then I am going to show you kind of what we have him in and what we've had him in for the last few days here. And I plan on changing his cage today as well, so I'm going to kind of film that, and I'm just going to film the process of how his cage slowly evolves from like what he's used to at the breeder to what I feel I want him to be. Because any animal, no matter what it is, everybody has kind of their own opinion and their own way of doing things, and I'm just going to kind of document my own way of going from where he was at the breeder to what I have him as. And it's going to be a lengthy process, but we will get there. So let's get into this. I have him kind of tucked here in my lap. He is in a little, like, I don't even know what you would call this, but you can see this just goes around my neck like so. I'm not going to put it on. And then there's a little pouch with a zipper. I got this at the Pet Expo as well. And I'm going to take him out so you can see him. He's a little sleepy because it's in the morning, but he's kind of awake because I've been moving a little bit and talking. Come here. Ready? And this is him. So he is a little baby hedgehog. He is about 8 weeks old, 9 weeks old, somewhere in there. I don't remember exactly how many weeks old he said he was. He is a little boy. We named him Pua. For those of you who have seen Moana, know Pua is the pig in Moana. He is super sweet. He's been very well handled. He does not like being held far out. So I'm going to keep him kind of close. He likes to go up and kind of like snuggle in my neck. He is not like the hedgehog that I previously owned. For any of you that have seen my older videos know that I owned a hedgehog previously, and she was a Craigslist find, and she just stayed in a ball the entire time. I could never really handle her or anything, and she was very close to the end of her life, had a few owners, so she just hated the world. But he is like so friendly. He will cuddle with me. He lets me hold him and touch him. He is very kind of skittish when you go to like take him out of his cage. But most hedgehogs can be like that. They're a little timid, but he's very friendly. I held him for like over 20 minutes before I actually brought him home. And he like started falling asleep in my hands. He loves the little like cuddle thing, so I have him sit in this a lot when I'm like watching TV, eating, playing on my computer, doing anything. I'll put him in there, and he loves to hang out in that. But yeah, so this is him. He's pretty tiny right now, but he will get bigger, and I will document the process. I do plan on giving him a bath soon here, just because, I don't know, bringing him home from the breeder and everything and stuff. Whenever I bring in a new animal, I usually give them a bath within the first like few days, kind of let them settle in, and then just give them a bath so that way they're fresh and clean. And then I can kind of have them on like their own little like bathing schedule. Hongo is in her crinkly tunnel. We'll let her settle in. Okay, sorry about that. Pongo was going crazy in her little crinkly tunnel, so all you heard was the crinkly noise in the background. And do not go back to the tunnel. And in that time, he has buried himself. I don't know if you can see him in here, but he's kind of in like the nook of my arm. And he's got his head in and his butt sticking out. And he's just going to be happy. So I'm just going to kind of let him chill there just because it is morning. So he's pretty sleepy. But we got him at a pet expo, as I said. It was actually hosted by a YouTuber. Her name is Emily. I've been following her for a couple years. She has a business called Snake Discovery, and she's actually, I think, like kind of somewhat local to me, which is kind of cool. But I am a part of like the small pet, like, or exotic pet something or other, I don't know. It's a Facebook page group that I am a part of. And I found out about the pet expo. And I originally went to like get something kind of like this or whatever and just look at the animals. I love doing things like that. So, and we had nothing else to do that day, so we decided to go, and I had no intentions in bringing home an animal. I was open to the idea. My husband, not as much. But this is a animal for me, not for him. And we do live and own our own house, so are kind of able to do things like that. I would not necessarily recommend getting an animal on a whim, but I talked to the breeder for probably a good total of an hour. I went back to the table 3 different times, held a handful of different hedgehogs. I had a connection originally with a little girl, and the little girl that I saw, she did this exact thing and just like sat there forever in like the corner of my arm and like cuddled with me. And I just kept thinking about it and thinking about it after we walked away from the table. So we went back. Me and my husband went out to the car. We had a long, lengthy talk about it and everything and stuff. Went back in, looked at him for a little bit, went back out, talked a little more, went back in, and I finally just made the purchase. I talked to him about how he was housing them, what he was feeding them, all of the things, and all of the babies were very like, there was 2 girls that were left and like 2 or 3 boys that were left. He was one of the ones, and I held the other boy first originally, and he just kind of kept running around, and I just didn't feel the same. And then I held him, and I held him for a good long while, and he was kind of running around and everything, but he calmed down pretty quickly and started to fall asleep in my hands, and after that it was done. I was in love. And we ended up getting him, and then we went over to go purchase one of these, because these are, the opening is pretty small. And I originally thought of maybe using something kind of like this for maybe either my bearded dragon Mushu or my pet ferret Pongo. But looking at the holes and stuff like that, I'm like, you know, they're really not going to go in there too well and everything and stuff, so I didn't bother to spend the money. But now that I had just gotten him, I was like, yep, I want one, for sure. And I saw this one, and it was so cute. It's got Moana on it. I can't really show it too well because my other arm is not able to move at the moment. But it has Moana on it, and there's a part where she's holding Hey Hey and Pua, the little pig, and the little rooster chicken thing is Hey Hey. And my husband originally said, well, you could get the Moana one and name him Maui. And I was like, oh, that's a really cute name. And I was like totally convinced and thinking that I was going to be naming him Maui. And then in the car, we actually thought of just naming him Pua, something shorter. And Pua's a pig, he's a hedgehog. It kind of goes together a little bit, at least in my mind. And over half of our animals are named after Disney things because we're huge Disney fans. So that's how we got the name. I think it was the fastest I've ever named any of my animals. But he's been really good. We've had him for a few days now, and he seems to be settling in pretty well. He uses a litter box, and he actually uses it way better than I thought that he would. And yeah, it is a completely different experience buying a hedgehog from Craigslist versus buying a hedgehog from a good breeder who knows what they're doing, who handles the hedgehogs and like gets them used to being handled and held and everything else and stuff. And I am happy and excited that I get to have kind of like a redo almost of like owning a hedgehog, of like not just owning a hedgehog that's scared all the time and does not want to be handled and wants to just sit in their cage, versus like a hedgehog who tolerates being handled. And he doesn't seem to mind it. I'm able to touch him. He's not spiking up or anything. I think I've maybe seen him like puff and huff like maybe twice, and that's like if he's kind of not like fully awake and I'm trying to get him out of his cage or something like that. But really, he's not too bad at all. But yeah, so this is him. Now I'm going to end this video here, and then I will film a video of me kind of changing about the cage and everything and stuff like that. If you have any tips or anything about hedgehogs, any like treats, things like that, I'm trying to figure out like fun little like food things and stuff like that to give them for like treats. I've heard some people give their like hedgehogs like different kinds of meat, and I've heard a few give them like eggs and things like that. So if you have any suggestions or anything like that, go ahead and leave them down below, and I will be sure to read them and try them out and stuff. Or toys. That's another thing, because he's just like a little baby and stuff, and I feel like I want him to have some toys. And he has a couple of like the little cat balls that have a bell in his cage, and I'm trying to think of like other like toy type of things that a hedgehog can play with. So if you have any recommendations for those, please leave them down below as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and me and Pua will see you in the next one.